Lock the doors, load your weapons, and secure the perimeter. Because once you step inside the tower block, there is no turning back. Welcome back to CinemaJam Versus, the ultimate movie battleground. I'm Sebastian Gomez.
And I'm Pablo Velez. Today for episode 31, we're climbing our way up a concrete meat grinder as we pit two of the most relentless, claustrophobic, high-rise action masterpieces of the 2010s against each other.
That's right. We are putting two legendary structural scenes face to face. In one corner, written and directed by a friend of the show, Gareth Evans, we have the bone-breaking, adrenaline-fueled martial arts phenomenon, The Raid Redemption from 2011.
And in the opposite corner, we've got directed by Pete Travis and penned by Alex Garland, another friend of the show, a gritty, neon-soaked sci-fi comic book adaptation that serves as a masterclass in stylized, unflinching justice. Dredd from 2012.
One relies in the devastating speed of pure Pencak Silat choreography, while the other leans on heavy-duty firearms, psychic powers, and a lethal drug called Slo-Mo. 6 rounds, 2 high-rise hellscapes, but only one can survive the lockdown. Let's start jamming.
Okay, Johnny, this one's got your number on it. Let's jam.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another CinemaJam Versus, a podcast where two friends meet 2 times a week to talk about movies. Today is the middle of the week, and we are going to be talking about 2 different movies that we put in the battle round and pick a winner. As always, I'm Sebastian Gomez.
And Pablo Velez from Montreal, Canada. Hi, Sebas. How are you?
I'm doing great. Before we continue, we want to remind our listeners and viewers in YouTube or in Spotify or Apple Podcasts that please subscribe, leave your comments in the podcast, give your suggestions. We're also looking for ideas for new versus and ideas for new podcasts or genres. And especially in August, we still haven't decided the genre, so we're still open for listener suggestions. We're actually, depending on the different suggestions we get in our social media channels like Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, we're gonna do a poll and we will decide what is going to be the August theme.
Exactly, Sebas. We're looking for everyone's feedback, but also I just want to take the opportunity to invite everyone to subscribe and to follow us on YouTube. That's our main channel, as you were saying, Sebas, but also follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. We publish all of our shorts and the videos with videos and audio on this social media channel. So please give us a like, follow us, a comment as well, and help us continue building the community that we want to build.
And I'm talking about community in Patreon. You can join and you have exclusive content. And we have published their advanced reviews of some of our movies. This week, we actually had a heavy week. We review Toy Story 5, Widow's Bay. I put a review there. And Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, the latest movie by Gore Verbinski. That is a very interesting, surprising sci-fi tale. Okay? This is our middle of the week podcast. We have 6 rounds where we compare different parts of the movies. As we mentioned at the beginning, we were talking about The Raid Redemption from 2011. I mean, it's just an action scaling of the tower movie. And we have The Dredd, that is also an action-packed film in a different genre. Both of them very bloody. These are not horror movies, but there is as much blood as I don't know, Halloween or Friday the 13th. There is a lot of blood in this movie.
They're both like amazing adrenaline-driven action movies, and they are both like the perfect, type of movies to put together in our CinemaJam Versus format, sales, because they are so similar in their approach, in their genre.
Yeah, the structure is identical, yes. Basically, yeah.
But they obviously have very different storylines behind themselves. I wanted to ask you, why did you choose these movies?
It's just something that I had in my mind for a while. I didn't propose it before because I was looking for the time, but that both of them were available for free in different channels. because normally that's the type of movies we like to pick, like the free ones in streaming channels in the middle of the week. And I like to have that discussion for a long time because I remember that the structure was very similar. And there is also in Disney Plus right now, there is a Punisher movie. I think Punisher One Last Fight or something like that. I don't remember. That has a very similar structure as well. Well, in this one, I actually think the Punisher is the last boss of the movie. So
Interesting.
I have been looking forward to watching it. I haven't watched it, but that's another reason I had these two movies in my mind, and I saw the opportunity. And okay, let's dive in.
Let's dive in straight on to round one.
Round one.
Okay, so I get the chance to ask the questions this time around. So round one is about the story and script sales. So the raid redemption kicks things off immediately with a tactical police raid going horribly wrong, turning into a raw survival game with an unexpected personal, family twist. And then on the other side, Dredd opts more for the typical routine of a rookie and a vet police officer or police judge, in this case, doing an evaluation day that suddenly turns into this localized apocalyptic lockdown, which is informed by this ruthless drug leader, like drug cartel leader. So which narrative, Sebas, do you think, which narrative's structure manages the escalating tension better with that single building premise? Because both movies take place in one single location, a high-rise. Which script do you think delivers a more satisfying progression from the bottom to the top?
I think I'm gonna give it to the Raid Redemption. I think for the story, the family thing that you mentioned, the way it builds up, because there is more drama in the Raid Redemption. The guy is his wife is expecting a kid, so he has a reason to come back. The bad guy is more hands-on into killing and being a bad guy. The main bad guy. I think I'm gonna give it to the Raid Redemption. Which one do you think is gonna? Do you like the story better?
I actually think it's Dredd, to be honest.
Yeah,
The thing is that
why?
the thing is that in my mind I keep on comparing Dredd to Judge Dredd, the Sylvester Stallone
No,
movie.
please don't.
And that's the thing. Like when you nominated the two movies, I was very interested in watching The Raid because it's like this famous, action, really bloody movie, and it actually, deliver all the goods. But when I wasn't expecting anything about Dredd, and I was very, very surprised, not only with the action, which is, maybe it's not as gory as The Raid, but it's as good. I mean, it's as fast paced and yeah, and the thing is
the
that
executions in Dredd are
yes,
wow.
yes, and the thing is that I thought the storyline about like this Slo-Mo drug and the effect of the drug and how it was filmed, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't know. The Raid is fun, but it's just like an excuse to get all these people to fight off every like 10 minutes. You have like this amazing like martial arts like fight scene, but there wasn't much in terms of a story. I mean, to be honest, that was my perception.
I don't know. So the irony is that so both movies are basically a video game. You can tell that these directors and writers basically were educated in the structure of a video game, right? They're getting a harder boss every single time, kind of like the Bruce Lee movie as well, like Enter the Dragon. It's the same structure. We could have compared actually the Raid Redemption to Enter the Dragon, and it would have actually also fit in that category. We'll know a little bit about the other judge,
Anderson, I think.
Anderson, played by Olivia Tilby. So that's the only thing. So that's why in this one, in the story, I want to give it to the Raid, but because I think in the rest of the categories are probably going to go to Dredd, to be honest. So we'll find out soon enough.
Okay, fair enough. There was, let's say, some.
At least
there was a twist. There was like a twist that I wasn't expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, in Dredd is very straightforward. Basically, they're just jump into another one. There was another twist in Dredd, but it was so obvious that you could, the bad judges, the corrupt
Yeah.
judges was so obvious that, of course they had corrupt judges. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to round two. We gave this point
Okay.
to the raid.
Round 2.
Okay, this is about characters and acting. So in the raid, we follow Rama, performed by Iko Uwais, who's playing this very skilled cop that, with everything to lose, because he has a wife who's pregnant, and, he's surrounded by this ensemble of corrupt and very kind of like shady police officers that he went in to do this raid, like the police operation. And then in Dredd, you got Carl Urban giving a completely perfect kind of like comic book type of performance, a stoic, completely masterful performance where you don't even see anything of his face besides his mouth and his constant,
Frown, like
he doesn't move at all, and it's amazing. And then he's paired with this more emotional character that gives a bit more of a performance. Olivia Thirlby's rookie cop, who's a psychic, by the way.
Yeah.
So which movie?
The rookie with the mind reading.
Exactly. Yeah. So which movie, Silas, do you think anchors you more emotionally into, rooting for the survival of the protagonists? And maybe like a second part to the question, which of the bosses, like the ultimate bosses, Tama in the raid or Mama in Dredd, felt like a more genuinely terrifying threat?
I have to give it to Dredd. I love Carl Urban. I always love him everywhere. And him and Lena Headey are freaking great in this movie.
Are perfect.
Those two are just perfect, because even in that stoic, serious, never smiling kind of way, it was amazing, the performance that Carl Urban gave. I mean, it was, after him came the Halo series and the Mandalorian, but what he does in this movie with just his chin and his mouth is great. And Lena Headey is I love her since the Sarah Connor Chronicles in the TV series, and then the Game of Thrones, of course. So I knew who she was from the beginning, and I could tell that she was doing a great thing.
No, Carl Urban is amazing, and I remember him from Doom. That was the other movie that was in the back of my mind as I was watching Dredd. Like, this is the guy from Doom, and actually you get the same kind of like evolution of like fighting above, like the video game, structure, and how you fight your way like to the ultimate boss. So I couldn't think of a better casting than him, to be honest.
Yeah, no, he's great. I actually looking forward to watching him in Mortal Kombat 2, the movie that came out this year, where he plays the Johnny Cage.
Nice. Okay, point given to Dredd. Let's move on to the next round.
Round 3.
Round 3 is about visuals and direction. So this is going to be an interesting one because Gareth Evans actually does a very interesting job with this dynamic, hyper-kinetic, like the raid is a non-stop, experience. There are like few moments where you actually can take like a break and breathe, because it's this constant physical choreography, switching scene to scene of this full like throttle action, realism. While in Dredd, which was directed, in theory, it was directed by Pete Travis, but I read somewhere, Silas, that Alex Garland actually directed most of the movie, if not all of the movie.
Yeah, he started. I guess he took over some parts. Yeah.
Yeah, and he took a different approach, and you can tell that because he leaned more into this kind of like cyberpunk world that I love. I think that's why I really enjoy this movie, and especially whenever you got like this band of people building like this hallucinatory drug, the Slo-Mo one, the frames when they show people in this kind of like absent state with the music and the slowing down Matrix style, it's amazing. Now, which director, Sebas, do you think utilized best the restrictions of like filming in a high rise in a building with this like long concrete corridors and making that environment more, like more useful to the story and actually to the imprint, to the style that they wanted to give to the movie.
I think I'm gonna give it to Dredd. I like what Gareth Edwards did, and you could tell that he was coming in, and he was going to make a movie without a lot of budget, and he had more restrictions. But because when you think about Dredd, it's a comic book movie, you expect it's gonna be a big budget. It wasn't actually a big budget. It wasn't. I think it was only like $30 million, but they made it count, and it looks like a sci-fi epic. And that effect, that visual effect of the slow-mo, is when the first time it happens in the car, the persecution, and then Lena Headey in the bathtub. It's just so beautiful and so vibrant, and the rest of the movie is so dark, and those parts are always like shiny. It was just great, and they play very similar. They are going up, going down. They're corner. They start like I think there are like 23 at the beginning in the Gareth Edwards movie, and they are reduced to 3, if I remember correctly, at the end. But in Dredd, there are only 2 the whole time, so it was more effective. I think I'll that direction and visuals. I'll give it to Dredd. Yeah, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, I was very impressed with the like constant action that you get in the raid, because it's like nonstop. It's amazing. It's like you're like in this 1 hour and 40-minute long roller coaster, always like going down full speed. But I like more how Pete Travis and Alex Garland manage the different like moments in Dredd, because whenever you got the sequences with the slow-mo, like you said, Sebas, I mean, that really like took the movie in a different direction. I think for that alone, I agree with you and give the full point to Dredd.
Yeah, and just before we move to the next one, both movies are very lean. 1 hour and 40, you don't feel them, and 1 hour and 35 in Dread, and you don't. It feels very, very good. It has a good rhythm. It has very good edition in keeping the pace moving forward.
One last just to say there, Sebas, there was the only thing maybe about the raid is that there are like so many fights that when you actually get to the boss fight, which is not with the top guy, it's like with this, what was the name of the evil guy?
I'm gonna tell you, because so the thing about, we
Mad
didn't
Dog.
mention that in the
Mad Dog.
characters.
Mad Dog. Mad Dog. That guy is like this mix between Jean-Claude Van Damme and I don't know, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. Is the most amazingly like beautifully like choreographed fights I've seen in a long time. But there were like so many before it that when you actually get to that ultimate fight between him and the 2 brothers, spoiler alert, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to enjoy it, Sebas, because I've seen like so many amazing fights before that I was like, okay, there's still 15 more minutes left to the movie. How long is this for?
Yeah, we were born out at the yeah, they could have maybe 10 minutes from the movie or one of the fights. I want to mention that one of the services that the J.J. Abrams sequels of Star Wars did was to include Iko Wallace, and that's Drama, the main character, and Jajan Ruhane, the Mad Dog, in the Force Awakens. He added them and didn't give them anything to do, and it made me so mad after watching the movie. I still, when I rewatch it with my kids, because they want to watch it all the time, I see them and like, what a waste! Opportunity.
What a waste! Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but let's continue. Next one is 4, right? Yeah.
Round 4.
So, Sebas, round 4 is about the soundtrack and the vibe of the movie, like which movie stands out. So, in the raid, I mean, it depends on what version you you watched. I think I watched the the Thai one, the original one, maybe.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Because the U.S. version seems to be, it was scored by Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park and Joseph Trapanasi, and it has more like an electronic beat type of movie, which is not the one that I heard. Where you could actually hear that blended with the with the fighting scenes, the slapping, and the crunching of bones. In Dredd, you get a very heavily distorted, slowed down synth wave, background music that mimics the whole disorienting buzz of this slow-mo's drug trip. Which movie do you think succeeded in engineering this more immersive, claustrophobic acoustic environment to drive, that adrenaline in the background as you go through all the different moments?
To be honest, I don't remember the soundtrack from the Raid. I don't even remember if the US version was the one. I listened to the original soundtrack, so I didn't hear it. So I'll have to give it to Dredd. At least I felt it in Dredd. That music, that very distortion music, and very moody, especially when they are being followed or they are being tracked. And I think it played very well in Dredd. And I might listen to the Shinoda soundtrack one time to see if I can find it, but yeah, I have no idea if I listened to that one.
No,
If I did, it flew to my head.
No, I mean, I think I watched the same version as you, and I don't know, I didn't pick up anything like very interesting. While when I watched Dread, I could relate and feel really how the music helped like tell the story. Maybe like a point, like a question for our viewers is, if anyone has seen The Raid, the American version, and have heard the Mike Shinoda soundtrack, just comment on this video and let us know your opinion. It might not change the outcome of this versus round, but it will help us get feedback and see what our followers are. What's the opinion about it?
Yep. Okay, let's go to the next round.
Round 5.
Okay, so round 5 is about, sorry, one sec, memorable moments. So in the Raid Redemption, we follow this, legendary jaw-dropping sequences when you get like this fighting in the hallways of the building, these brutal fights between multiple people. And then the obvious, what we just talked about, the long final showdown against the boss, the mad dog, ultimate, evil. While in Dredd, you get Dredd striking back with his high-tech, weaponry. Like there are like several iconic moments. The whole attack, the minigun attack on the apartment that gets completely wiped out, the high-rise, execution when they drop the people out after having that slow-mo thing, the drug. So which of the sequences, Sebas, is stuck to your brain the most, and which one do you think stands out as the absolute peak of modern action movie making?
I think the slow-mo sequences in Dredd are scary as hell, and so they work very well. And the machine gun, the 3 machine guns basically mowing down one side of the building, it was just well done. I'm not going to deny that I felt like, how can Red being able to outrun the machine guns? But the effect was still very well done because
Very, very well
they
done.
completely destroyed everything. So still the environment damage, it was worth it. And the execution at the end of Mama, Lena Headley with the slow-mo, it was really well done.
Really well done. I completely agree. It reminded me the whole machine gun, when they blow up the apartment, reminded me of you remember Predator when
Yeah.
when you get the sequence where they're like just firing like everyone against the jungle because Ventura's not Ventura. What's the name of the Jesse Ventura? Yeah, his character. He had the big machine gun,
Yeah.
and he just starts like firing. It felt like that, like this overwhelming like firepower. I don't know. It reminded me of Predator, which is a good movie.
Yeah, or the Terminator 2 when Arnold
Yes.
Schwarzenegger goes
Yes,
down
something
and
like
mows
that.
the cars. Yes, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely to Dredd, right? Yeah.
Yep. Point given to Dredd. So we can go to the next one. Round 6. Okay. And the last round of this CinemaJam Versus is the one where we ask about the rewatchability quality of the movie. So, which one, Sebas? Sorry, once you know how both movies end, which one do you think it holds better? The Raid because of its martial arts choreography qualities, or Dredd because of its, deep sci-fi, cyberpunk build-up and video game style?
I think the Dread definitely, at least in my mind, there was a little bit more variation. There was more, things happening around it. I really enjoyed, even if it was the same premise, it felt like that. The martial arts choreography was great, and some of the sequences in the apartment, for example, they were great when they were, getting shot. It wasn't all martial arts fights. There were a lot of shooting and ambushes and things like that in the raid. I think it played out, and you can tell because I have rewatched the raid a couple of times. Sorry, Dread a couple of times after I watched it a long time ago. So I think it goes to Dread in my case. What do you think?
In my case, I might want to watch The Raid again. Maybe like the other version, the American version, just to give it a go. I maybe have had like some issues with the quality of the playback of the version that I used, the one that you recommended to us. But even if I want to watch The Raid, just to give it another go, I think in all honesty, Dread is a better movie and one that I will watch again just for the sake of it.
Yeah, I mean, to be split it, I mean, both of them are
I would play.
heavy rewatchable. I'm not
I would
going to
split it.
deny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this time is not like one is bad. I mean, they are both good movies, and like we've been saying that Dredd had more colors, like more angles than the Raid, but the Raid is so much fun.
yeah, it's. I think it's iconic. I think. Well, it does. It did bring that type of martial arts, the punk. What is it? Pencak Silat martial arts, and it bring it to the front. I mean, after this movie, basically the character played the actor Iko Wala made different movies, even Star Wars did different movies, and he did a movie with Keanu Reeves, like the man from Tai Chi, and different other movies. So it did allow you to think about the different martial art, and I think it did a good job in that regard. But Dread just felt a little bit more, well, popcorn, I guess. Yeah, more popcorn friendly, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like a last comment from my side. If you've ever watched before Judge Dredd from Sylvester Stallone from the 1990s, it's not even close. I mean, they're like very different movies, and Carl Urban was the perfect choice for Dredd. And the way he interacted with the rookie, with the character of Olivia Turlby was very, very good. So if you actually need to choose between the two movies, I would go with Dredd, even though I have to be honest, Judge Dredd was one of my guilty pleasures. I've always
I
liked that
know.
movie. It's like one of those Sylvester Stallone movies that I really enjoy. But after watching this one, I'm like, I'm gonna I'm gonna lower it down in my ranking.
No, I know. I actually don't like that movie so much. The acting of Armanda Sant in that movie makes it
Oh man, that's
one of the
the other
worst
one.
movie ever. And Roach Snyder, I don't know why he did so many movies with Sylvester Stallone.
Eh.
Yeah, so yeah, one day we have to watch Judge Dredd, to be honest. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I didn't like it when I saw it. And I knew you hadn't watched this one because you had so much respect for Judge Dredd, and that was another opportunity to sneak this one in.
Thanks for educating me.
Okay, so the winner.
And the winner is.
And the winner is Dredd from 2012, directed by Pete Travis and Alex Garland. Although since that Alex Garland did a lot of the directing, actually, written by Alex Garland, John Wagner, and Carlos Esguerra from the comic book, starring Carl Urban, Olivia Thirlby, and Lena Headey.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah. Josh Carl-Orban and Lena Headey steal this movie, definitely.
Definitely.
Thank you, everyone. Dredd, congratulations. Maybe one day we will be able to send you a trophy. And leave your comments. Tell us which one do you think is better, which one do you think is like the epitome of or the best high-rise action-packed movie. And do you have the movie for next time or okay? So until next time, keep jamming about movies.
Until next time, thanks everyone.